All right, so I'm going to start just by talking about what critical thinking and critical theory is in my own words. So, the way I see critical theory is it's when somebody takes information they've learned, they look at their own beliefs, the beliefs of the instructor, and the beliefs of society as a whole. They use this total information to form their own opinion. And use our beliefs to evaluate real world situations. Critical theory is really important because oftentimes there's social injustice in our society and world, and it's not that we're okay with what's going on, it's maybe that we haven't taken the time to look at the situation critically and evaluate and realize that something's wrong and needs to be changed. And that's why critical theory is so valuable because it helps us as we gain knowledge see areas that we can make improvement in our worlds. Um, I think that critical thinking is vital to any education setting. What's the point of teaching a class or educating someone? And in my opinion, education has to have a purpose. The learner is intended to take that information and do something with it, whether it's improving themselves and in turn the lives of others and the society as a whole. If the information we are learning doesn't serve some greater purpose, what is the point in taking time to learn it? So, because I believe information that we learn in formal and non formal situations, either way, it's intended to serve a purpose outside of the classroom. I think that we must teach learners to think critically so that they can become independent when creating perspectives on learned information, and they can be dependent in identifying needs in our societies and needs for change. So, as I was reading this chapter on critical thinking, it brought up some personal memories I had about my education. So, I think I was in third grade, and a presidential election was occurring at that time. So, our teachers facilitated a mock election. Um, and us kids participated in that. We had the opportunity to vote for, I think it was Al Gore and George W. Bush. And we actually went into a voting box, and the teachers tallied our votes and came up with a winner. I actually think the winner was Al Gore. But anyways, us kids are really excited for this opportunity, and we start whispering and discussing with each other who we voted for. And as we were sharing who we voted for, it was our reasoning was, well, my mom and dad like this person, or I heard them talking about this person. So the words we were saying were coming straight from our parents' mouths, and that's how we formed our belief. Fast forward, when I was in high school, there was another presidential election. Us as students had time to start thinking more critically and formulating our own opinions. So these discussions when I was in high school were much more heated. Each of us knew the platforms of the person that we were voting for or that we were supporting. And based on their platforms, we had our own beliefs and opinions and had made decisions on whether we thought there was social fairness and correctness in whatever that presidential candidate may have been standing for. So a lot of these opinions differ from our parents. And by the time students reach college, I think there's many more opinions that differ because we have formed our own belief opinions as we go into secondary and post-secondary school. So I think critical thinking is very important in education. Do I think that critical thinking is required in every learning situation? Not necessarily. When I teach kitchen measurements, we go over equivalents and fractions. This is pretty basic information that I want them to memorize and remember. And there's just not really any more depth to it at that point. It does, however, build up to critical thinking moments. Students will eventually learn about effective meal preparation and time management in the kitchen. They learn about planning for large groups of people in different situations. So they may be given these scenarios in school or in real life at their jobs. And they will have to think critically and know how to adjust ingredients to serve larger or smaller groups and apply that measurement information to a more critical situation. So it's important that students gain knowledge and build some basic foundations, and eventually that is applied to situations where they think critically.